People that came before the 2000s. What was the coolest invention that you witnessed that truly made you believe that the future was finally here? MP3 player. Game changer. Even burning CDs really blew me away. I could finally listen to all of my favorite songs from different bands all in one place. Used to have to catch them on the radio and record to cassette and hope I didn't F it up. As a kid I remember video calling being a thing that felt like and was depicted in movies as being future technology. I think now looking back, other technological advances have turned out to be far more representative of the technological progression of my life. The internet, the significant improvement of computers, or cell phones to name a few. But little kid me would have gotten his hair blown back by talking to someone on the phone while seeing video of them at the same time. I did like 3 video calls today, and it's weird because it still doesn't feel like the future. I have a robot that vacuums the floor and lights that come on when I'd verbally yell them to and what color I tell them to. My doors unlock and lock with a flick of an app anywhere in the world. I don't have to talk to people to order food. It's purchased, paid for and dropped at my door. None of this feels like I'm in some Jetsons future, which is weird because clearly we are. I was around for the entire development of the internet. First time I ever got online was with Prodigy, but I remember the first time that I fully appreciated how large of a game changer it was going to be was the first time I saw a website advertised for General Mills on the back of a cereal box. I think it wasn't until then that I understood how fully the internet was going to be incorporated into every facet of our lives. Touch screens. Then touch screens on things like coffee makers. I do miss my BlackBerry for physical buttons sometimes though. Born in 1981. Here, cordless phones were a biggie. It took a while for me to believe and fully trust the new magic of a cordless phone. Like it was powered by a mini wizard living inside of it. It couldn't be real. My brain didn't want to accept it. It has to have a cord or it can't work. Lol. GPS, a screen that can give directions to anywhere. It's still magic. We used to have a "house of the future" in my country. We went there on a school trip. It was filled with home automation and touch screens and we were all like "no way this is going to be standard. This is too cool." But here we are. The modern flat screen high definition TV. For years and years we saw every cartoon supervillain with a giant flat screen on their wall. Sci-fi really dropped the ball on people's desire to see each other on phone calls though. Digital cameras. It hit me when I realized toddlers who had their pic taken would run to the photographer to see what the picture looked like on the camera screen right away. As if that was the way old cameras always worked. Haha, I love telling my friends' kids about times before the internet and cell phones and touch screen things. Friend found an old disposable camera when they were moving and still had a few pictures left on the roll. Showed the kids how it worked and then took their pictures and wanted to see what they looked like. We said, well, we don't know. You have to wait about a week once we take it to the store. Just the blank faces I couldn't help but laugh as if their brain just hit a dead end. Born in 1972. I remember the first time I saw a barcode scanner at a grocery store. I was 8. That was also the first time I saw an automatic door. Barcodes also ushered in the age of automatic inventory management, which changed the world significantly. It's no coincidence that big box stores came along at the same time. Google Earth. That was the craziest shit. Also the original Starfinder apps were awesome. I can't believe this is so far down. When that came out, I remember watching one of my classmates zoom in and out of different places in our college computer lab, and it was like witnessing magic. Can I find my house? Fuck. It's still like witnessing magic. Internet. I know this sounds ridiculous to say as we don't even use CDs anymore, but skipping forward a song and not having to forward or rewind a tape was revolutionary to me. A laser mouse. No more fluffy trackball to clean. I remember rewatching an episode of Star Trek TNG on some random station. Then on commercial break an advertisement for an iPad popped on. And I was like, wait, that's a pad. Holy s future, here we are. The effing internet. The curse and the blessing of the people. Caller ID. My middle sister had moved from Oregon to Boise, ID in 1988. Boise was the test market for caller ID. My oldest sister and I went to visit very shortly after she moved there, and I immediately noticed this weird little box connected to her phone. When she explained that it would show the number and sometimes name of person calling, I was just stunned. It seemed so high-tech to me at the time. Looking back at how stunning that was to me is just hilarious considering what our phones do now. Gamma Boy Color. Born in 1963, nothing impressed me until the convergence of three things: 1. High-speed wireless; 2. Smartphone and its user interface; 3. The content of the web built out with all the content you ever needed. So yeah, modern smartphones with good web content. It is the first time I've seen technology change how people live. Prior to that there were inventions that helped here and there, like spreadsheets on PCs at work. But nothing changed the masses and their day-to-day habits until the modern smartphone and all its apps. Motherfucking duck hunt. You could point a plastic gun at a TV and somehow shoot things. I can't be the only one whose mind was blown over this. PCs. They were pure magic when they came out. Now I actually hate them because most things are done in front of a computer. Working, watching movies, talking to people. It's just awful. Communicating via the internet. Chatting with my cousin who I never got to see via him was an absolutely mind-blowing experience. 1,000 miles separated us, and suddenly we were able to chat with each other instantly. Camera phones really blew my mind when they came around. I remember in the 80s when the fax machine came about. I worked in the legal industry and the ability to get a document signed and sent to someone immediately vs putting it in the mail or sending it via courier was revolutionary technology. EverQuest was really something else when it came out. Playing online with my group of friends from school in a fully third world was really mind-blowing. When I realized I could jump in the car for a road trip with zero planning and without a big book of maps. The world becomes a lot smaller when you can go anywhere without worrying about getting lost. I used to play music on my computer as MIDI. I read about MP3, so I downloaded All Star by Smash Mouth. I was so amazed when I finally finished the download, dial-up speed, and played it to discover it was the actual song. I ran around the house and told everyone how cool this was. Mind blown. For me, it was CTRL plus C and CTRL plus V. A computer teacher showed this to me when I was in grade 3, so about 8 or so. I'd had a couple years of my mom teaching me DOS commands and I'd just barely experienced whatever Windows was out back then. 3.1 maybe? So the concept of being able to just copy all of the text is written and paste it anywhere else absolutely blew my mind. I remember thanking him about 6 times that day for showing me copy and paste. And I distinctly remember him looking like he felt super awkward about it because it truly was a basic ass command. For me, the future occurred circa 1992 when my brother was born and I discovered you could listen to the neighbors talk on their cordless phone on the baby monitor. Middle school me was mind blown. I also just realized my own kids would not understand that sentence. The internet is awesome, but for some reason, for me, it was CD players. Seriously. We went from 8-track, cassette tapes, VHS tapes, etc. But the moment we got these shiny discs that looked like futuristic versions of vinyl records, it blew my mind. Hell. Then we got Laserdisc, which was just amazing. RIP. TV remote control. Growing up, I was the remote control. Once visited one of my parents' friends and was in awe how he could control the TV from his couch. For me it was iPhones and Androids. It kind of clicked for me that technology had gotten really advanced. Things beforehand seemed like some kind of natural progression, but this was leaps and bounds. Pinch to zoom. Taken for granted now, but at first, holy hell that was cool. Manipulate an object on screen. Damn. The light I put on my Gamma Boy so I could play Pokémon Yellow at night. I remember going to Disney World 1990 and they had a science area They had a lawnmower that was basically a Roomba. It would be years before they became a reality for purchase, but it was amazing to see. I was born in the 70s. I graduated high school early 90s. I think the moment it hit me that the future was here and maybe this was a little late on my part was just a few years ago. Back in high school, we lived overseas, and I had a very long bus ride to and from school. I took my favorite movie and recorded it from TV to cassette tape so I could listen to it with my Walkman while I was on the bus. Flash forward to me in my 40s, sitting in the car at my son's soccer practice, watching a show on Netflix and suddenly thinking about how great it would have been to have that capability on those long after school bus rides. Google.